Hey, what's up guys, Eustass here and welcome back to another One Piece gameplay video. Today I have a little match from the locals between myself on the left piloting Green Kit against Jimmy on the right who is on blue Doflamingo or blue Doffy. Always a very interesting matchup I think, since the decks are both very control-y, and I really think that watching games between control decks is always a lot of fun. Always very interesting. We both went for the mulligan here. As for who's favored, honestly, I would say probably Kit, and I think we all know why that is, right? Because of the A-drop Kit, which Blue has just such an incredibly hard time outing. However, Blue can definitely high roll in the early game and get a huge advantage there. So I definitely don't think this matchup is unwinnable for Blue in any way. Definitely think it's probably like 60% in favor of Green or something like that. We do see me actually going for Bunny and hitting the A-drop Kit there right away, so we do now know that I do have access to it. And Jimmy's now going to just blindly go for the Doflamingo effect, so he probably doesn't really have anything good in hand, but he does hit into the Pacifista, is it here, or the Kuma? So that's nice. And he hit over my Bunny, of course, because yeah, you can't really leave that on the field, right? I'm going to out the Kuma with the Kid swing. However, he does have the Pacifista in hand to bring out, which is the 6k vanilla one, which is definitely going to do a little bit of damage probably next turn, hitting over my Kid, and I assume he's going to swing over my Bunny with the Doflamingo, and I'm just going to use the Bunny to add the Punk Gibson to hand, so already having to resolve 2 Bunny, that's definitely pretty good. However, field presence wise, Doffy is definitely in a better position right now. Not a lot better, of course, but he does have a pretty big beat stick, and he's definitely going to just easily out my Bunny this turn, unless he does some really weird play. Yeah, he's going to swing over my Bunny there, and then hit into my Kid with the Pacifista. And I don't want to use like 2 cards or 2k counter here to block or to counter. So I just take the hit and add the life to my hand. And now he's going to play the Boa and put it down under her, so when she blocks, he can draw a card. Definitely nice, one of the better cards in the deck, in my opinion. The blocker Boa. I'm going to boost up my Kid quite a bit here, boosting it to 9k to hit over the Pacifista, but he's going to block with the Boa, of course. I had to boost it up quite a bit so I wouldn't get wrecked by a lot of counters, right? And now I'm that's absolutely ridiculous. It was quite a while that I recorded this match. It was like a couple weeks ago. Didn't really remember this, but yeah. Basically the 4 first cards I play in this game are apparently all Bunny. So definitely very good hand. Oh, and now I remember that also for the rest of the tournament I never saw her, but in this game I literally saw all of them in the super early game. So I definitely can't complain there. He's going to swing with just 5k into my Kid. I'm going to counter that with the Neko plus 1000. And then he's going to use Always Done to play out the Crocodile, which makes all his event cards 1 cheaper, and it also has Banish on a 7k beater. So definitely pretty strong. Now I can definitely start digging for cards though. And I do have a lot of done, so potentially if I dig for a card, I can first dig and then maybe tag out the Bunny with a lull to make sure she doesn't get outed on the next turn. Yeah, I'm going to do Bunny add here, think a little bit. I'm going to out to add Badgie to my hand. The 1 cost blocker, very nice. Now after doing a little bit of a think here, I'm just going to swing in with the Kid on 6k on the Pacifista, but he's going to block with the Pacifista. And then, yeah, like I said, I'm going to go lull, bounce the rest Bunny to my hand, and replace her with the OP1 killer. And I'm going to give a Don to it, so that when it blocks, I'm going to be able to draw a card. And this is what I said, like the vanilla 6k is really strong, but because I'm really struggling with outing it. As you can see, it's quite big, so I do always have to use a couple of Dun to attempt to swing over it, and then if he blocks or if he counters, that's just quite rough. I definitely think the vanilla cards are very, very powerful. Now Milk is going to come down and actually shoot the lull to the bottom of my deck, so that's quite rough. And now he's going to swing with the Croc. I have to block, and I don't get to draw because I don't have 3 characters in play anymore, sadly. But yeah, I want to block because I don't want the Banish effect to happen, right, from the Crocodile. And here I'm just going to take the swing from the Pacifista, so I do get the card to my hand. And then I'm going to counter with Nekomamushi with the plus 1000. But my opponent definitely is in a pretty big, has a pretty big advantage right now because he has 3 pretty big attackers on the field. I just have the Bonnie and he has still 5 life to my 2 life. So I definitely have to go in here. So I boost my kid with the 4000, boosting into 9 and swing into the Crocodile. And he's actually going to counter with, I think it's double Pacifista and the Boa. But that does make his hand quite small now, and my hand is quite big still. Going to, use the kid leader ability and just swing in again, and it doesn't look like he has enough counters to protect his Crocodile second time. Then I'm going to use 1 Don to play the Capone. And I think I'm just going to pass the turn with the 2 Don still active. And we do know I have the Punk Gibson in hand. My opponent also knows that, so he doesn't have to play around it, right? But he definitely has to keep in his mind that I can use the Punk Gibson if I do so want to. And that's where I think he's going to make a little bit of a misplay here, because he's going to swing in with his Doffy first. He actually misses with the effect. I just want to verify here that the card stayed on top of the deck, which it does, I think. But yeah, he doesn't play around the Punk Gibson here, because you can see I'm going to Punk Gibson now, and I can also rest his Pacifista, which is very nice for me, because it means that he will have 1 less swing this turn for my leader. Now he's going to swing in with the Mihawk, which I could potentially block, but I could also just take it, because blue doesn't really have access to rush cards, right? So you can't just do like a mega big swing like red decks can, or for example, Kaido can also do really big pushes. Then he's going to play the Virgo, and he still has 2 Don active, I think. 2 or 3. Virgo, once again, just a big vanilla beater. I'm going to put my 1 Don under the kid, swing over his Pacifista, and he literally just easily gets rid of it, so that pretty much signifies for me that he doesn't have any counters at this point in his hand. And there he is. I'm going to be dropping the 8-cost kid, put a Don under him, and then use his ability to bring out a guy, which is going to be Raizo, if I remember correctly. Doing a little bit of a think here, but yeah, I'm going to bring out Raizo, which is nice, right? Because potentially next turn when I swing, it can draw me an additional card, which is always very, very good. But my opponent does have access to 10 Don here, so if he really wants to, he can try to go to break the A-drop kit, because he does have the Mihawk on field, which is very big. So obviously I'm probably gonna have to block the swing from the Mihawk. He's actually going to do the Sables here to bounce the blocker to my hand, which is fair enough. Then he's going to swing over, or attempt to swing over my kit. But I do use 2 counters, a 2k and a 1k here to protect it. And now he can, if he wants to, put all his remaining Don under Virgo to out the kit. Not sure if we're going to... Yeah, we're going to see that. So it's, I think, 13k now, so I have to have a lot of counters here, but you're going to see I'm going to pretty much discard my entire hand here to make sure the kid survives. Couldn't quite tell which cards it were, but it does make it big enough for him to survive this attack. And this is basically like, if he had outed the kid, it would have looked really bad for me, but now that he can't, I do have just 2 cards left in hand, but I'm going to be able to add a 3rd one with the Bonnie, and then a 4th one with the Raizo as well, and with the 8-drop kit on the field. It is looking very good for me, because once again, blue has a super hard time actually dealing with it. I'm going to go for Bonnie first. Not sure what I showed there. I think I showed like triple Okiku or something like that. Yeah, and then add another component to my, which is very important this stage of the game, because that component is gonna help me, keep that 8-drop kit on the field, which is basically my win condition at this point. I'm going to boost the Raizo, make it 7k, and swing over the Virgo and draw a card, which is definitely very nice. And once again, he doesn't counter at all, and doesn't even like think about it or anything, so that pretty much signifies to me that he doesn't actually have any counters in hand. So I'm just going to swing with 9k into the Mihawk, and like I said, he pretty much just gave away, he didn't have any counters, so I didn't have to give additional Don to my 8-drop kit. And now I can just swing in with my leader here if I want to, swing in with 6k. He takes it. And I use 2 remaining Don to play out double Capone. And yeah, from this point on, it's gonna be super hard for blue to win. Blue really was looking very, very good, I think, in the early stages of the game. It definitely looked like he was gonna win. But now, honestly, all of a sudden it looked like this game pretty much unwinnable for him. Going to boost his Doffy. Shoot my Raizo to the hand with the... Well, this is the structure deck Doffy. And I blocked the swing into my A-drop with one of the Capones. So yeah, it was really good. Definitely, I think that I had double Capone there, because if I didn't, you could have just gone for Doffy and then tried to swing over my A-drop with his leader. But yeah, I was kind of lucky with the double Capone. Basically, the best game state of the deck, right, is where you have all these little blockers to accompany your A-drop, and then it's just impossible for blue to out it. Yeah, doing a huge thing here, because my opponent does still have 4 life, and I just have 1. However, he also doesn't have that many cards in hand. I'm going to use the Kid ability to bring out Killer, which I think is a little bit of a misplay here, because I think after this I'm going to be swinging, which kind of plays into certain security, or not security I should say, but trigger effects. And then I play down, use my remaining Don to play down the 7 drop kit. So yeah, super strong board here, with the A-drop 7 drop kits, and then Capone and Killer as well as the Bonnie, which can just give me an additional card every turn, because it's basically protected by the A-drop kit, which is definitely the games that you want to be in. And my opponent playing Doflamingo control here, all the different Doffys on the field. But yeah, I definitely got too late to discard, right? It's very strong, because you can look at the top of your deck to basically make sure your leader effect is going to hit, and it's also a blocker. But yeah, it's probably too little too late here. He's going to go swing at my Kid, then bring out Blackbeard, which is going to bounce my Killer to my hand. But now I can just use the Raizo, which was bounced to my hand previously, to counter for 1000, since he does only have 8000 attack power here. And yeah, now I'm also going to be able to bounce the Killer, which was bounced to my hand as well, to protect my Kid. Maybe it would have been worth it for him here to actually use the Don to boost up his Doffy, to force me to use my Capone at least. But kind of depends what he stacked, I guess, with the OP1 Doffy. And here Bonnie adds once again a blocker to my hand, and every time I just add a blocker with that, the game keeps swinging more into my favor. I'm going to swing leader over his Blackbeard. Then I assume I'm going to swing with the A-drop kit over his structure deck Doffy, I assume. Thinking if I want to give another Dome, but I don't, so I swing in with, how big is it, 11k, he's going to block. And then I'm probably going to give the remaining Don to my 7 drop kit, I would assume, to swing over the Doffy and make it 12k. So if he wants to protect, he has to, basically discard his entire hand, I think. Oh, right, but we knew he had a Mellow, so he's going to go for Mellow and then double Virgo. Yeah, okay. Right, I remember now. Because we saw that being reviewed of the Doffy a couple of turns ago. And he also kept 2 Don open, right, so pretty much he was kind of giving it away. Which happens a lot. You can even bluff with it in this game, right? Which I think is very interesting, by just keeping Don open, even if you don't have event cards or counter event cards. You can make your opponent think that you have. And here another Mika-Hawk is going to come down, which shoots my 7 drop kit to the bottom of the deck, which is a little bit rough. Definitely not what you want to be seeing here. Because now I don't have a lot of attack power. I just have 3 swings to 3 life, which, isn't enough. Going to do Bonnie first. Going to add Killer, it looks like, yeah. So once again adding a little blocker. That Bonnie going in so hard. Then going to swing in with 9k kits over his Doffy, and finally it's outed. And now I'm just going to go a little bit aggro, I think. Because, I do need to finish the game at one point. And I also think we were kind of nearing time here, and I was behind in life, so I really need to do some, actually start going a little bit more aggro. Actually going to ditch a Capone there to restand my kit and then bring out the Killer. But I guess it's fair to discard the Capone, right? Because I do at this point have 3 blockers on field. And once again, he doesn't have something like reverse or anything in the blue deck. I'm going to swing 8k with the Doffy. I'm going to use the killer to draw a card and block. Now I still have the 2 components to block his Mihawk swing. He's just going to not use any Don and swing. And I'm actually going to use Izo as 2k counter. Which is very nice. He's going to play the Boa. And Lol. So now he does have 2 blockers though. Which makes it a little bit harder here. Maybe I could have just used the component to block. Because then I would have had the Izo to suspend one of his blockers. Which definitely would have been quite strong. However, this way, if he does decide to pump up his Mihawk or something next turn, then that means I can just do the component to basically make those done. He puts into Mihawk kind of useless. Going to boost my kit by 1 Don. He's going to block with the Law. Now I assume I'm just going to give a lot of Don to my leader to out the Mihawk. Probably. No, just 1. No, just 1, and then I rethink a little bit. And then give him 4 more Don, I think. Boost him to 10k. And swing into the leader, actually. Yeah, I'm going to force out the blocker here anyway. It's going to use the block, and now I can, yeah, exactly, use the leader ability. Pitch 7-drop kit, restand. And now I can either swing for the leader or try to attack over the Mihawk. And I think I'm going to try to attack over the Mihawk. And he's going to use the, just a pet cannon. Which now I'm not quite sure what happened, to be honest. Because I'm quite sure that the attack should have went through anyway. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm probably missing something. Not quite sure, but I'm sure everybody in the comments, they always know best, right? So be sure to let me know what I missed there. Maybe it wasn't just pet cannon. But I think it was. Well, I'm sure somebody's going to point it out. To be honest, I don't think it really influences the outcome of the game anyway. So to put always stuff under the Doffy to try to swing over my kit, I'm just going to discard my entire hand basically. And now this is pretty much a guaranteed game because I have 3 huge swings against his 1 life. I'm going to swing with 9k. Yeah, and I'm going to be able to boost up my kit for so much. Boost it to 11. And even if he can counter this, which he apparently can, I can just restand the kit and then finish out the game. Yeah, very cool game in my opinion. GG, and I'll see you the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, yada.